I think a good way to start would be, for those who don't know, just to actually briefly introduce yourselves, a short bit about your background in dance and technology, and what your role is in this project. Maybe we can start with Taavet here.
Hello, I'm Taavet Jansen. I have background in choreography and dance. I used to be a professional dancer, and at a certain point in my life, I started to work with video and video programming as a developer. And now, last 5 years, I've been doing my PhD in EKA, and my focus or interest is in digitally mediated live events, aka streamed theater. But from last year, we started to collaborate with Norbert to work with mixed reality, performative aspects of mixed reality. This is I think now my main interest or focus.
I am Liis. My background is also choreography and dance and mixed abilities dance. But then I more wanted to get rid of the performer's body, and kind of also wanted to get away from the theater stage, and was looking more other stages or other spaces where body appears, or what is a contemporary body, what does it mean to be present in this world. And last year or previous years, now I have been more online and in gallery space, or being out of theater spaces, and creating together with Taavet and Norbert, and now back in this kind of staged situation again. And also I've been interested in working with text or words and thoughts.
Hello, my name is Norbert. I'm based in Germany. I have a background as a dancer, choreographer, and then I became a mathematician. And the relationship between technology and the body has been a space in which I can somehow make use of those different sets of skills. And mixed reality really. I hope everyone's okay.
For context, there's another theatre, a big theatre behind us, actually. So this is a normal Saturday night for them.
Yeah, well, that, and I'm curious about how we can use technology to bring the body back into the focus. I made a few other mixed reality pieces of my own, through which I met Taavet and Liis, and I'm very happy to be here and about this collaboration.
Welcome, Norbert. Thank you for coming all the way to Estonia. So yeah, I'm very much interested to use this opportunity to open a discussion with performing body, technology, these things, but maybe just as we're familiarizing ourselves with the project, as I understand, Still Moving 3 is part of a longer-term project held in Human. So I would love to hear just a few words about generally that project and how you arrived at this latest iteration that we see today.
I think it has been an organic process that we started this project 2 years ago, and then we were working with how to bring audience who cannot be physically here, how to bring this trace or trails from this audience into a physical space what we commonly share, and how can we leave a trace in a physical space, even maybe without being physically present there at all. And how can the space, collective development, and from there, for me, it somehow organically started to become, or it became to mixed reality development, because we were in Germany back then, like with Liis, and started to hang out with Dortmund Academy of Theatre and Digitality, and that somehow this project has been developing itself, and we have been just surfing along. At least I have a feeling that we haven't been, developing this project, but this project kind of developed itself.
Yeah, I mean, like this second part where this idea came, I just yesterday night I realized that what we are doing now is not what we planned to do. Like where it started, like the third iteration, it started like there was one person who was experiencing this mixed reality performance, who was free to move around and interact or read and be in the space, and it was in a public space. Is this performance that this kind of stage, in the public space there is like a stage where passers-by, you can see them, you are in this mixed reality, and there is like the thoughts, and there we were like following like also like how people move and how they are, like what is happening while they're experiencing these texts, and there we thought to like, is there a possibility to somehow like make scores or choreography like through text and like mixing this, bringing together this very kind of mind, imagination, and the physical body, and then somehow we ended up in multiplayer. That kind of it was like a single player version, that it started from just like from the patterns that people do, how they move in a certain kind of setup of thoughts or ideas, and then we now we are in this multiplayer that is actually like a totally something else, or another kind of playground, that you are like really sharing these this virtual layer is shared, and it's a very big difference. In that sense we kind of are developed by this project, or we are kind of going along, and then
and that's also, we are taking freedom or enjoying freedom that we can do that we can surf with this project. That we decided from beginning that with this 2-month residency, we're not gonna make a production out of it, but instead we will explore what can we do in this environment. So when we came here, we worked the first month. We worked from distance. We worked in studio. Norbert was in Berlin, and we were developing the technical setup. But from in here, we started to immediately do runs with people. We like a closed showing. So we invited people, put it helmet on, and 15 minutes we showed something, and then we did interviews with people and collected like data, like what did they experience, and then we changed something and tried with another set of people. And so we have been all May, we've actually been like researching here and like what can be done in this environment, and still we don't know like what other possibilities, what you can do with this setup, what we have developed.
At a certain point I think we agreed or kind of made this choice that we're gonna go like this, that we want to really research this kind of giving away the control and creating together with people, or like that we are having the sessions together with people, instead of like putting this headset on and controlling and like going this way, that we are directing and making like kind of that people are kind of like robots doing something that because this we also I think was an important thing, that this last iteration it occurred that people actually they don't have so much experience in Estonia at least, that like
experience
putting
with a
headset, that it's already like what's going on, like, and really felt that it's also important to kind of grow this community or share this kind of technology so that people could really have their own experience and then to start develop something something further.
Yeah, I wasn't part of the initial parts of the project, but maybe it's worth noting that these technologies are quite new, right? And it's a few years ago, pass-through became available for developing. Pass-through is the ability to see the environment as you're in it. And this kind of opens up the possibility of freely moving through space without the fear of bumping into things, right? And then the hand tracking emerged also, so you don't need controllers. And that does a lot for the coordination of the body and the interaction with the virtual layer. And now multiplayer and the ability to kind of stabilize the virtual space with respect to the real space, so that everyone can have a shared understanding of space, more or less. It's still a bit glitchy. But all of these things kind of open up really new ways of experimenting with performing arts and questioning also what space is or what space can be and what a shared space can be.
Yeah, thank you for those. You actually answered the next two questions I had written down. So, boom, plenty more. But yeah, I like this note on VR. It's both very new to certain audiences, but it's probably, for myself, this project, when I was seeing the development, at least this iteration, it reminded me of trying the Oculus Rift for the first time in 2014. I don't know if anyone tried those first models where like you were guaranteed some motion sickness, you needed a fishing rod, and yeah, you described very nicely what has already come, being able to share these spaces, and what's very exciting is really being able to move. I think the first time I tried VR and being able to move was maybe not into 2018, and still it was a different experience, and now with what's happening here, you are more embodied, so that's exciting. I want to pick up on, this playground. You have almost set up an open framework for exploration to explore this performative text. And using that to try out these new ideas, have these open formats, and you are even talking about having different scores. And as I understand, we saw various scores even in this showing now. There was also two different languages. There was one before 6 p.m., but we can talk about that also. But just going down to the different scores, could you elaborate a bit with these in your own words, and as well as point out what was different about them? I'd be interested to identify what were the common goals or common concepts when you were devising these different scores.
So the first score was, the idea was to give like this empty canvas to people, that there is nothing like pre-created there, that they enter this space, and so we just gonna follow what will happen there. Will they communicate? Will they, I don't know what they will start building or not, and really like giving this power to the people and holding back this our controlling vibe, like not trying to send something in to, because it's, if you're outside, it's like you don't have any idea what's going on with people, and you are like really like blind person there trying to also be part of the space, and we didn't want to add this theatricality there, so that the space was also like more daylight, and taking away all these kind of extra layers, and sound wise it was also more organic vibes. And the other one was kind of going to the theatrical space, and there also I tried more some like pre-created spaces or ideas or I don't know, texts or lines, how they will communicate or what will happen if I send them in, what people will do, like more kind of yeah, that people are already familiar so with the space, just like playing around.
But there was one specific Ene Michelson poem also.
Yes, now in this English version it came in like the last thing.
In Estonian there was like one Estonian poet, Ene Michelson. It was one of her poems was kind of not backbone but frame of a second part.
It seemed to me also that in terms of, I wasn't responsible for the scoring part, but that there was an evolution from single letters to words to phrases, right? And can I ask a question, actually?
Definitely. Yeah.
To you, Liis, because you do speak of ideas and thoughts. You know, you're like, I put this idea. What do you mean by idea? I'm intrigued.
So the thing is, I how it went actually was that I was working from the beginning. I was working with some texts, like and some certain author that I'm interested in is this Ene Michelson, who I feel very choreographic writer somehow. There is something very, I don't know, I would explain it as a there is something, how she writes or how the body is included in her text, or not even body, but the state of being. And there is like some kind of method that I have kind of find out for myself, how I'm working with texts. But the thing is that, so I had like created some kind of like a score for myself or a bank of text or thoughts that I would like to compose or create the space and see what's going on, and will the people and how they gonna go through it physically, and what they will make or what kind of changes they will make or how it connects with them. But I think now it was like really trying out things, just like relating to this situation that is there, because we really didn't have this time to really rehearse it or try it out with people or make like changes. Or of course I did it, but also the functions that I have there, they were like constantly, you know, like changing, or we build something new, so it gives me other tools. I understand, okay, this is too much, this doesn't work, I will not go with this idea, maybe what I had in mind, how to build it up. So I constantly had to like adapt. So I was basically and there was sound and video also that are making the atmosphere of it, like playing together with this, or trying to understand, is the meaning coming out, or some kind of atmosphere coming out, or state of being. So I was just like trying out these things, but of course there were like so many things changing, and as we're not controlling people, then it's, I think now we have the space, and I have kind of idea how to I don't know, make a play or direct some specific text or meaning through that kind of space, and you know, like but now we really were like trying out what kind of meaning comes out through the people if I feed in this kind of thoughts in the space.
We were working when we were preparing it. Then we were working also the concept with more, you know, the semantic approach. We had like a poem. You are inside of a poem, and you can construct and deconstruct this poem, and you know it is like a narrative. It has a narrative. It's like after every some time something new happens, and it's like a continuous, like a narrative of a poetic like a, let's say, collaborative space. And it was beautiful, and it was like when we were two of us, we were watching it at home, and like I was like, yeah, it works so great. And then we started to experiment with people, and then you know, that's next, like a super sensitive topic is coming, and somebody takes a word and starts to hit another, like, and it all kind of falls apart, and somebody deletes all the words, and then it's like, no, it doesn't really work like this. It's we need a different approach, like what in the collaborative text space should be, that it's not in our control. Otherwise, we should like, okay, shut up. Yeah. Sit down, you can't do anything, watch. Okay, that's the story what I want to tell you. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and it's very different when it's when we had the session and there was like one person and I'm playing it together with the person, then like this kind of having the idea of this embodied kind of meaning or language or the communication, it was very different, that you could really find a way together with the person, like kind of seeing how she's moving and, you know, what I'm like, what's the character of the person or how she wants to be in the space, and then we're finding together, going through the poem or you know, like some kind of the script that I have. But yeah, but when we went to this multiplayer mode, then it's, you know, like it's really kind of giving up it for now and like picking these pieces that could work, or you know, like, or how to try it out or what to try out.
For the record, I just want to say that Liis was improvising. That the interface is built in a way that Liis can spawn words separately. She can spawn the set of words, the composition, she can despawn everything, and she can change the color and also transparency of pass-through. And this is really also, I want to mention it, it's a super powerful tool, but somehow if you put it headset on with a pass-through mode enabled, we immediately adopt it. We don't see it as a trick of saying like, yeah, it's like cool, but I think it is a bit of a miracle that we as an artist, we have a possibility to basically control your vision. We can just like make you blind and say like, did you see, did you hear what I said? And put your sight, give you a sight package. It is like super powerful tool what you know, this technology enables, and it.
Yeah, but it's then it brings in this like other kind of approach with what to play with, you know, like it's already the space is kind of really giving a lot of meaning, you know, like if I take the sight away, it is like a clear message. So what is needed to say like being said in text, what is like through light or sound or through the I don't know. There are like many options, so I think now it's just the space is there, and I'm kind of yeah.
Yeah, we found even that even the font, or not, even like this typography plays so big role that if we used the Cyrillic words, there are some words in Russian, and it had like a total different impact to Russian-speaking people and to Estonian-speaking people, thanks to the political situation, and it was like totally opposite what they found, even without even paying attention what the meaning of the words. Just even that there is a word in Russian, and yeah.
Since just to latch onto that, since you have been able to trial, different languages, both in the showing and in this residency process. Would you like to provide any observations you saw on the differences in the response to words, and I think in your own practice, the embodied relationship to certain words when you were doing a hard translation, or if you felt the need to adjust some words, specifically going back to this embodiment of the text. If you'd like to go on to that, that would be great.
Yeah, I think totally. If it's the mother tongue, it's so we mainly worked in Estonian, with people here, if you are not like native speaker, I think it is always translated. You know, if it's not like a fixed thing that you are translating with some native who would really find the word that you would like to put in there. Yeah, I think.
I don't know. It's like it's so different that how people approach it. We had, for example, before. Now I think we didn't use it. Before we had a scene that was like just the words inimesed, like people, were just like everywhere, and you were wandering between them, and the song was like a super dragged Minu inimesed, which is like a famous Estonian rap song, and there were some people who made like no connection with it. I was like, oh, this is a nice thing. We have like a skull, and I have like a inimesed, like humans, like carrying them around and deleting humans, and super fun thing. And the other guy said that came at, okay, Minu inimesed is so obvious. I mean, like this song, I totally recognize it. I mean, this is a comment of a song, and I immediately lost, interest. And so I don't know, it somehow like everybody has so different opinion of it. It's so, yeah. There are some patterns that you can recognize, but it is very different for everybody.
So there's an individual aspect as well as whether like a continuous pattern. Something else you revealed that maybe wasn't so clear before, but something I really like about what's happening is there is a lot happening in real time. And I was quite sneaky to even go back to your proposal, and there was an original ideation where you have a control room separate. But I think, what is very interesting about this is a lot is happening in the moment. It's not fixed. These words that you're putting in, as I understand, you are choosing when they go, what words go, and even the aesthetics of that. So something we like to discuss a lot in our research in Modena is this idea of agency. And in this project, where do you situate your agency as the artist in this, and then on the counter, what agency do you perceive the audience to have? Some might perceive it as the audience has full agency in what they're doing, but the way you're describing it, you're talking about directing them or even controlling them. So, where do you place yourself in that spectrum of agency?
I can share one observation.
Please.
I've only been here for a few days, so I missed the first experiments with audience. But when was it? Thursday, I think there was a lot more going on, like Liis just throwing stuff in and then deleting everything and throwing in another scene, and people were expressed frustration by, they've put all this work in setting something up and then it's gone, and then so I think now there was a more refined mode of like announcing. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed, like, in 20 seconds this is going to disappear or this and that, so that people can adjust to it. So there is an agency, but from both sides. And I appreciate that there is some consideration of, to make people feel safe, maybe, or held, but also surprised. And to me, as a developer, I find that a lot of VR pieces really put people in very complicated situations. I've gone often to gallery spaces. I put on a headset and then I'm off in another dimension. And I don't know if it's an opening, there's people walking around everywhere, maybe people taking pictures, and it's a blindfold, right? That essentially this headset is a blindfold. So the pass-through really enables or gives agency back, I think. And that's, for me, that's a really crucial thing, especially if we speak of embodiment and performance.
When you say the pass-through, you mean how the headsets works almost as goggles, you just see through.
That's technical.
No, I just elaborate even for myself. Because that's something I realized when I first put on these. Like, you're seeing the space and the words are just an extra. So it's this nice mix of the physical space and the virtual space. So.
I think that agency-wise, it is unusual for me to give away the control over the let's call it artwork. It's not finished. It's like a research showing, yada, yada, yada. We will continue working on it. So in one day it will be an artwork. But to give away the control over the experience, and this is something very like new and intriguing for me. For the record, there is nobody who knows exactly what happened here today. Like nobody, because Liis she has some idea of the word spawned and despawned. She sees some preview from in Unity what was going on. I have no clue what was happening. I was just providing an environment, and you saw only the snippet of it. So like there was nobody, and this is something that what I feel is my agency. Is that I do my best to provide the atmosphere where something can happen and everybody would feel safe and respected. Like this is, and we hope that it's good experience. This is we can hope. But this we can see like later. Like if people are mad, then it's like, okay, it wasn't so good as I expected. We should reconsider something. But like, you know, it's a, but this is, you know, it's kind of a like a mystery, like for me, you know, I can try to read, okay, see that it was okay experience, like I have no idea what the experience was.
I don't know what to say. I'm thinking that I really want to hope to create like spaces that are like more democratic, or the art spaces, or also like these theatrical events that you could really have as an audience, that you're not only being played like that, you can make decisions and we are like flirting with you or we are inviting you to be in. But I have myself, I have that kind of problem. I have had it that I know that when I really go in and start doing something, then I'm like ruining the game. And I would really, because I'm really questioning, like, what is this theater, like, why we are gathering in that kind of space, what's the role of it, where people meet each other, or do they watch others who are like more trained to be people and performing like something in front of them, or is it like a stage or a platform where you can kind of, different bodies can meet and ideas can meet, and it's like a little, we can play something through. This is like, and that's why I would like to give away the more and more the control, or be just one of the players, or find myself like this role. But I can also be very controlling. I mean, like I could do a thing that if it's totally different, that I want to share this idea, I want to direct it in the space, but I'm searching this kind of where I am like meeting the audience, or where are we meeting, so that we are kind of that I am surprised, like what they can do, or what kind of space I kind of gave there, and what came out of it, and they can also be the co-authors of it. Mm-hmm. So that it's really, yeah, I'm really like in between there. But yeah, being back on this theater stage, it has. Yeah, I really don't know now what this space does. It does something with me.
Mm. Yeah, space has very strong agency by itself.
Yeah.
Like we've seen things in here from beginning, and you know, if you go put the lights on and put the sound and close the curtains, then theater miracle starts to happen, and you have to deal with it, you know, all the time. And you know, it would be. We could do the same thing in empty barn, like somewhere in the countryside, and it would be as fun, I'm pretty sure. digging the dirt and you know.
The fourth iteration can be in like some Sarama, like tavern or something. Interesting. I think there's a co-regulation, right, between the artists, audience, and even between the audience themselves. You talk about you have trialed as singular persons and people sharing the space, and it's very nice to hear how the shared virtual space and shaping that together plays a role. I wanted to ask, in continuation of this topic, I wanted to ask you, with this, what similarities or what dissonance do you see between the performing body that we are used to in theatre and dance and what I would describe as the modern body of everyday life, particularly in our relationship with technology? I'm interested to hear what you see, how you are blending these worlds, this thing that you train for with intention and this thing that just exists.
Did I understand right that it's like the trained body and like the performer and like a modern body, like how they are kind of aligned, or do they get, what?
I'm interested in this. I'm also interested the same body but in different modes of being, right? You can be the same person, but when you're on a stage performing, you become this performing body. So we start with that.
I can have a go at this one. So the work I've been making with mixed reality, I've been framing as choreographic installations, and to me they're a way to bypass or to transmit quite immediately the experience of dancing to non-trained people. Now the question is, what is training, right? And to me, the training of performers is essentially to be at ease doing something in front of an audience while staying focused on some tasks. And so if I would, tell a group of, the work is often shown in visual art context. If I would tell that group of people, do an improv now, everyone would get really shy and awkward, and then, and I think that the training is precisely bypassing that shyness and awkwardness, and these headsets magically do it. It's like you put them on and you're so focused on the concreteness of the imaginary that's present in the space that you start interacting with it, and the resulting movements are quite stunning. The hand gestures are just so refined and beautiful to watch from the outside, but you would never be able to get those without that technology and without training, or it would be kind of much harder to get there. So in that sense, the technology can like bypass something, like do a shortcut. Of course it doesn't replace, but like a temporary glimpse into something.
As a trained person, I have a feeling that I need some kind of decision of activation, or like somehow I have to decide that, okay, I will activate, I let this environment to activate me, enable to become playful and, not forgetting how I look or, what things I do, because I see as a professionally trained dancer, it's a burden. That from the moment I stopped, it's even a curse, I would say. Because from the moment I stopped being a performing artist, from that on, I basically have never danced in a party, because I cannot. Because I immediately feel observed. I feel like, okay, now I have to show what I can do, but I cannot do it anymore. So I suck automatically, and this is kind of what's happening in my head. I said, like, okay, just go, guys, go and dance. I have a drink, it's but this technology has kind of power to I don't know, kind of to deactivate this mode and activate something different. Like we had yesterday, it was like when we started to jam together, right? With some, I don't know, 3 letters, and like we had like a lot of fun together. And so the technology has this possibility. Also for me as a dancer, as an ex-dancer, let's say, or maybe forever dancer.
I remember that this in Tartu, where we had this other installation. Actually, there the idea also came to my mind, because there I could notice that people who had this kind of like actually another like different thing happened, that those who were like on stage people more or the people that you could see perform and talk in front of people, when they came to see the performance that was in the public, like kind of a stage, and they put the headset on, they were immediately, you know, like kind of taking this, I'm not going to show you anything, you know, like I'm just taking this passive and then, so what you show me, you know, like, and then the other people who were like, just who came to see it, I don't know, maybe they were interested in text or whatever, and you, maybe they seem very shy people and you were a bit afraid, you know, like, you know, how is this kind of public stage, what's going to happen, and it was different reaction, that people kind of felt that it seemed like that they had like a mask on and they were free to move, to play around, and the bodies really like woke up, and this was very beautiful to see, and yeah, that was for me also something to work on, or here also to give more this the audience to their bodies, or you know, that they can really experience something through their own body, and that it's not again somebody performing, but I think there would be like a good quality kind of this shared stage also, that some maybe are performers and then there's audience, and then what we can do or create together.
Yeah, amazing. No, thank you for confronting a bit more of a conceptual question. I think it'd be a good chance to forward this discussion. If there's any questions from the audience, be happy to take those on. We're doing a recording, so any questions, either take the microphone or I can repeat the question just to keep that continuity. So yeah, if anyone has, please. Yes.
Hi, I'm Alessandro. Thanks a lot. It was a very nice experience. At first I wanted to ask, because when you introduced us to the performance and what we were going to do, at least in my understanding, you focused on the people creating the space and creating a virtual space, the virtual side of this mixed reality. Now, talking, I'm understanding that, like in this discussion, I'm understanding that you also focused on the effect that this digital space has on people, like how they move, how they act, and how they are influenced. So first of all, is this right or not? And then the second thing would be, you mentioned maybe like that you can see some patterns and stuff like that. So maybe that would be interesting. I don't know if you have it already or if you will, kind of like draw some conclusions on this.
My first reaction is that I think those two topics do not exclude each other. Like one thing is our purpose in this environment was a bit to activate people, to participate, and to see how you will construct the meaning together. If we would say that, okay, just go run free and construct some meaning, and then it would be like different invitation. But for us, what we realized during this residency and over the previous iterations is that there's some steps need to be done to use technology to activate people. It has to do with the freedom and also safety, and basically it's a freedom and safety that you need to be, that it's okay to do the thing and to play with each other. This is my first reaction. And the second thing about the patterns, I think the main observation what we had so far was willing to lose control. And this willing to lose control paid a lot into advantage of, how, guys help me out here, like I know how to phrase it. You know, it's that women are more open to play than men. That's basically it. But I don't know what's like, you know, help me out how to say it, you know, correctly. Gender neutral, you know, fluid, like it's all cool. But they were much more open to experience than some pattern appeared that how men are more eager to keep control and not willing to give it away, that they are in a situation that they can't see anything and something like words are flying around and they are watched and filmed and photographed in the same time, like
and who is controlling
and who's
them?
Controlling it, and you know, so they had much harder time with it than women.
Like needing more, maybe asking for rules or structure, you know, the rules, like what can I do, or maybe did I do it right, you know, like did I solve the puzzle, you know, that has been more. We haven't had like so many people, but I mean, like still these questions, I think never.
Yeah, it's like a pattern kind of emerged.
I think it's very interesting, like a societal expectations. Men and women, or like at least like the stereotypical ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, so that's why I'm also like the wording. I'm careful, like how to.
I wanted to just add in like maybe a thought about space, and it comes back to agency, right? So it is a space that is provided for stuff to happen, but. So one way to approach space, and this was done by a movement called ecological psychology, is to think of space in terms of affordances. So the thing that defines the space is not the walls, I mean not the geometric structure of it, but the chairs, you know, tell us we can sit, and therefore we're having this conversation, and you know, the door affords going in and out. So as artists, what we do is we create a space where there is certain stuff, you know, we foresee one can do. It's like providing tools, and that of course has a big impact on what potentially can unfold in that space. But that of course can go into manipulative directions of wanting to get people. I think this is these issues of control are being negotiated carefully, because of course this is also, and that maybe brings it back to the contemporary body and technology. That's also what social media do, and you know, the search engines, they're really geared towards understanding our behaviors and our patterns in order to foster certain types of behavior, but also direct us in particular directions. And so I find that this is a really nice ground to experiment with those dynamics.
Fantastic. No, thanks. There's something interesting you said about our agency is related to a perception of agency and technology that we use every day. I think we have enough time for one more question or two small ones. So since
I'm curious about two things. What was your point of view during the performance? So I guess maybe Taavet mentioned that Liis had some preview or something. And the second curiosity was about this mixed reality situation, or somehow, like, at least for me in this context, this mixed reality meant kind of this additional layer on top of the space. And so we could kind of operate within that mixed space. But were you also curious about trying to have this mixed reality in both directions, to also bring something back into the space? Because like I could, at least for me, I could detect like maybe 3 different point of views. So the first was when I didn't really have the experience of the virtual space. So just to kind of observe the uncanny motion of characters. Secondly, being within the space. And third, then being back into the physical space when I already knew what was there. So I could kind of, my imagination maybe was like more directed. So basically the second question is for these observers who were kind of bystanders for most of the time, were you also thinking about or being curious about bringing something from that layer back to the physical space again?
Thank you. I think it's a very important question that we are like, we've been like struggling with it, and also we've been like thinking like how what could it be? What could it be like one in order to enhance somehow the overall concept that now we used more like abstract mood building, light and sound and video installations, but it could be something much more like a sharper and much more like meaningful, and also maybe like a text-wise. We tried to project the spawned words, but this didn't really make sense. That somehow it became a noise, and so we thought like maybe if we will keep on working on it, and we will have the kind of a conceptual frame, artistic, the text frame of it, like what the text will be about or what the piece will be about, then maybe we can have, I don't know, sentences like projected on the wall, or somehow that if you are sitting and you read a sentence and this sentence gives context to the bodies who are moving in a space. So this has been like one thought, but actually what I'm intrigued.
I'm very much interested in mixed reality, like the physicality of the space also, or some kind of materials that could be in the physical space, that the physical space would also, it wouldn't be only empty, but kind of the images that are maybe in words in the virtual space, that they have embodiment in the physical space also, that it would be more mixed in that sense also. But this was also one thing that kind of was off the table at one point because of we didn't have time and the security, and if you want people to move, then it also, you cannot place the objects there, and then it needs like concrete this context with what you play and what kind of this embodiments you place there, and but I'm personally interested in that kind of environment that is mixed, that is virtual, and there is this physical world, and how they get together.
You are like, for example, you are knee deep in sand.
Yeah, like that kind of digging something that is invisible, like
word comes
like
out
that.
of the actual sand. We have to dig it out, or something like this.
But that's like a next research phase, I think.
I really like the distinction you made between the three phases. But didn't you say you identified 4, or did I misunderstand?
We have 3, I think.
Just 3, okay.
And I missed one. I missed the first because I was too eager.
It was funny coincidence because Norbert just phrased the same 3 while we had this pause like between, and we had a lunch, and he was like, actually there is like 3 distinctive stages.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing thing, because like where does this performance happen and for whom remains kind of unclear, and it shifts throughout time, which I like, but there is still something to figure out, I think, on that level.
For me, I'm not 100% sure like what is happening here, like why we are gathering, like why we are in the same physical space. Because when we did at home, we did rehearsals in studio, home studio. Then Norbert logged in from Berlin, He put his headset on at home and he kind of whoop, appeared as a skull in our space, and he could take a word, and like he didn't have to be here to do that. And this is like a freedom what it allows, that you just need your headset and put the spatial anchors and need the internet connection to participate here, but being physical in the other side of the world. And this is something what we've been also discussing, like we try that everybody are different in a building and different spots in the building, and it's somehow still doing the same thing, and it's also a lot of fun. So it's the physical space is not the necessity in this kind of a multiplayer setup. It is fun, but it's not like necessary.
But we had light and sound kind of that came back to the physical space also. I don't know if you then was if something was added in the space or something was taken away, and then there was this oh no sound if somebody like put something in the trash. So these were actually
I didn't light bulb like boom, but it was also the indication that something happened in the virtual world. So there was like a little bridge.
Hints,
Thank you. That's a very nice exploration. I like to conclude these talks with some kind of takeaway, and I quite like this "Why are we here?" as kind of a go off. But unless there's any other burning questions, we have time for something short. Otherwise, I would say we conclude this formal part of the conversation. But I'm sure discussion can continue through the evening for whoever who is around. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for attending this and giving us your attention. That concludes the talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.